What's up, guys? Jordan McAbee here, fantasyracingonline.com, home of the Slingshot Fantasy Auto Contest, and today we're talking about Richmond and the Federated Auto Parts 400. We had a pretty wild race to kick off the playoffs last week at Darlington, and the good news is should not expect that same thing to happen here at Richmond on Saturday night, and that's a key. Let me say that again. Saturday night. This is a Saturday night race. Don't forget to make your Slingshot picks. I know a lot of people do when we get to these Saturday night races. Make sure you remember. I will say I'll put out my typical emails, send them out as reminders on probably Thursday and then Saturday. But make sure you get those picks in because we are racing on Saturday night. So Richmond is a relatively very predictable racetrack, and it is a short, flat track that does not have. We're not going to see many wrecks. We're not going to see people having issues unless there's a pit road speeding penalty or a loose wheel or something. It's probably the most we're going to see. So this race is super predictable. We know who's very good at these racetracks. So when we're looking at short, flat tracks, we're looking at Richmond, we're looking at Phoenix, we're looking at New Hampshire. You can kind of throw in Martinsville, you can kind of throw in Nashville, but they really don't compare very well to Richmond, Phoenix, and New Hampshire. So we're going to be looking specifically at those. We know who's good at these racetracks. This is going to be a relatively quick video just because of we just know who's very good at these racetracks, and there's no point in going against the people that are just head and shoulders above the rest. It's just not. It's not a good idea. There's really no point. Like I said, Richmond is very predictable, and there's not a lot of issues that happen here. So it should be a relatively easy week to make picks and know who's going to do well. So going through the starting lineup, Kyle Larson's on the pole. We got Hamlin and Truex, the two cars that dominated the last Richmond race, starting second and third. Kurt Busch fourth, Harvick fifth. Logano, Kez, Blaney, Almirola, and Bell rounding out the top 10. Place differential plays, we're looking at Chase Elliott, William Byron, Kyle Busch starting 13th, 14th, 15th. You could also throw in Alex Bowman. He actually did win here in the first Richmond race this year. He's not a great, flat track driver, but he did win here. His pit crew got him out front, and he got the win the last time we were at Richmond, so definitely noteworthy there. Going a little further back, we got Austin Dillon starting 19th. This is a really good racetrack for Austin Dillon. Even further back, Matt DiBenedetto. Very good racetrack for Matt DiBenedetto. Very good track type for Matt DiBenedetto and Penske as a whole. Bubba Wallace, you always have to give him a little bump with being a Gibbs car. Essentially, you have to think he can weasel his way into a top 20 or top 15. Weasel probably wasn't a very good word or the right word to use there, but you know what I mean. Kind of unexpected, I would say, from what we're used to out of Bubba Wallace. Looking at the algorithm predicted finishing order, shouldn't surprise anybody. It's Truex, Hamlin, Logano, top three, and then there's a decent gap back to Harvick. Truex, Hamlin, and Logano are the best three cars on this track type. There's no question about it. They are the best. It's not up for debate. There's nothing you can say that can sway me on those three solidly being the top three at this track type. Yes, other people have won. Keselowski won here at Richmond last year in dominating fashion. But overall, everything points to Truex, Hamlin, Logano being the safest options this week. They also all start in the top six. But you have to think that they're going to be up there all race, getting stage points, running up front. And like I said, not a lot of things happen at Richmond. So we got Truex, Hamlin, Logano, top three. Larson, fifth after Harvick in fourth. Keselowski, Elliott, Kyle Busch, Blaney in ninth, which is a little bit surprising just because Blaney's not good at Richmond. And then Eric Almirola in 10th. Again, Eric Almirola is very good at this track type. That should not surprise anybody that he's ranked so high by the algorithm this week. He won at Loudon. This is his best track type by far. And Stuart Haas is running faster now than they did earlier in the year. Plus, it's the playoffs, plus 750 horsepower package helps Stuart Haas. So don't be surprised if Eric Almirola has another very good race here on Saturday night. Byron, Bowman, Bell, they all have top 8 potential in my opinion, but they are ranked outside the top 10 by the algorithm this week. Let's just take a look at stats on the short flat tracks this year. Now, like I said, we're looking at Phoenix, we're looking at the first Richmond race, and we're looking at Loudon. One thing to remember about Loudon, that's the rain race. Martin Truex Jr., Kyle Busch, both wrecked in that race, so their numbers are a little bit off, and we'll see the difference when we look at 2020 and 2021. But this is just looking at 2020, 2021, Phoenix, Richmond, and New Hampshire. Best average finish, Joey Logano at 3.0. Denny Hamlin, Christopher Bell at 5.0. Truex at 6.0. And then that doesn't seem right, does it? Oh, yeah, duh. So Truex came back in that race. Kyle Busch was wrecked. Truex ended up coming back and finishing 12th. Forgot about that. So Truex wasn't killed, but definitely messed up his numbers a little bit, especially average running position as far as what we're looking at in 2021. Almirola also has a 6.0 average finish. Keselowski 7.0. Bowman 7.7. Blaney 8.7. And then Larson, this isn't his best track type, to be honest with you. It'd be surprising to see Kyle Larson challenge for the win, especially in dominating fashion on Saturday night. He's won at Richmond before, but this just isn't his track type, and there's no reason for him to really push it this weekend at Richmond. So I don't expect Kyle Larson to have a Kyle Larson type of day that we're used to this year at all, or this weekend at all, just because this isn't his best track, this isn't his best track type, and he doesn't need to push it. He just needs to not wreck, and he's gonna skate, and he's gonna be able to go into Bristol and be able to go all out for the win and not worry about potentially losing or getting kicked out of the playoffs. So sorting by average running position, Denny Hamlin at 5.0, Keselowski 6.2, Harvick 6.5, Ryan Blaney 7.3. Like I said, this is not his best track type. So when you take a look at the flat tracks this year, when you take a look at Phoenix, when you take a look at Richmond, and when you take a look at Loudon, Ryan Blaney, average running position at Phoenix 4.8, average running position at Loudon 3.8. You go to the first Richmond race, his average running position was 11.8. If you want to throw in Martinsville, his average running position at Martinsville this year was 4.1. He's good at flat tracks. Penske's good at flat tracks, but for whatever reason, Ryan Blaney can't figure Richmond out. And I can't make sense of it. It's incredibly, it's just weird. He has 0 top 10s here in like 10 career starts. Ryan Blaney has 0 top 10s. Do I think that Ryan Blaney is getting better and that he could have a quote-unquote breakthrough race this weekend? Yes, absolutely. That team is running very well. Penske's very good at the flat tracks. Obviously, Ryan Blaney is good at flat tracks, just not Richmond. He just needs to learn this racetrack somehow, and they made steps in the right direction. Last time, Blaney, I believe I saw that he took Keselowski's setup, got his best finish ever at Richmond, which was an 11th. Still no top 10s, but definitely Ryan Blaney is lagging at Richmond, and I can't stress this enough because I know a lot of people just look at flat tracks and think Ryan Blaney is going to challenge for the win here on Saturday night. He's probably not. It's not going to. He just doesn't get this racetrack. Christopher Bell, 7.6 average running position. Logano, 7.9. Again, he had issues at Loudon, so that's a little bit off his average running position. Remember, he was 2 laps down. He came back and finished like top 5. So still one of the best. You got to take all these. When you have a small sample size of just like 3 races, you have to take things with a grain of salt and remember things. And remember what happened in certain races. Martin Truex Jr., 9.3. And then we got William Byron and Chase Elliott right behind him, as well as Eric Almirola, Matt DiBenedetto, and Alex Bowman, all in that 10 to 11 range of average running position. Now, when we expand these flat tracks, these short flat tracks out to include 2020, best average finish over the last 7 short flat track races, Joey Logano, 2.9. He is ridiculously good at this track type. There's no question about it. This is where Joey Logano does the best. So going back and looking at 2020, he won at Phoenix. He finished third in the second Phoenix race. He finished fourth at Loudon. He finished third at Richmond. He finished second at Phoenix this year. He finished third at Richmond this year. He finished fourth at Loudon this year. The guy is just incredible on this track type, and there's no reason to go against him. There's no reason to think he's going to have a bad race on Saturday night. I'm betting him to win at if you saw my tweets or you saw my post today, which is Wednesday, you can get him at 15-1 to win on Caesars by using their 100% profit boost. I would recommend doing that. I think that's an incredible value on Joey Logano. You can only put $50 on it, but $50 at 15-1 is it's a solid day for Joey Logano at his one of his best tracks and his best track type by far. So, and if you go to fantasyracingonline.com, there's a post I explain exactly how to basically get that bet, that $50 bet at 15-1 for basically risk free. So make sure you check that out. I took advantage of it. I'm letting everybody else know how to take advantage of it. It's solid. Joey Logano is solid here. Got Keselowski at 5.1, second best average finish. Hamlin at 7.6. Eric Almirola, 7.7. Fourth best. Kevin Harvick and Chase Elliott tied at 8.1. Got Larson at 9.0. Only includes 4 races. He missed 3 of the races last year. Truex 9.3. Alex Bowman 11.0. DiBenedetto 11.1. William Byron 12.4. When we go to average running position, Brad Keselowski is number 1 at 4.8. Then we got Joey Logano 5.8. Kevin Harvick 7.2. Hamlin at 8.2. Chase Elliott 8.8. Martin Truex Jr. 9.2. Eric Almirola 10.5. Kyle Busch 10.7. So if you look at everything I just said and all of the stats that I just rattled off, there's one thing that you notice. The exact same people, for the most part, have the best numbers. We know who's good at short flat tracks. Don't overthink it this weekend. Yes, we saw crazy crap happen at Loudon. It's not going to happen again. If it does, it's just bad luck. That's all I can say. We know the drivers that are good at these racetracks. There's no debating that. It's just, we know who's good and we know who's going to run up front. So let's take a look at, this is also the 750 package that they're running this week, again, for the second week in a row. So we'll take a look at that this year because that's noteworthy as well. 8 races this year. So this includes the two Darlington races. It includes Phoenix. It includes Martinsville. It includes Dover. It includes Richmond. It includes Nashville. And it includes Loudon. So 8 races in this data set, which is very solid. Kyle Larson, the best average finish at 5.5. Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Kevin Harvick, the same people. Guys, this is not difficult. William Byron, Christopher Bell, also strong. Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, who had a very good race at Darlington, Austin Dillon, Alex Bowman, Ryan Blaney. Those are your top 13. When it comes to average finish, average running position, number 1, Denny Hamlin, 4.6. Ridiculous. Kyle Larson up there, Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano. As much as Kevin Harvick struggled this season, he hasn't struggled on flat tracks. He hasn't struggled in the 750 package. If you're going to pick Kevin Harvick, this is the week to do it. Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., William Byron, Christopher Bell. Same guys. The only person that has struggled in the 750 package this year is Brad Keselowski. And he's just really struggled overall, everywhere. You can't even just pinpoint the 750 package as where Brad Keselowski struggled. So, yeah. But for the most part, we know who's good here. So when it comes to, and this is going to take a little bit. Okay. When it comes to putting together a slingshot lineup this week, I don't mind going with 3 drivers that can win this race. And I'm talking Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Joey Logano in the same lineup. I don't have a problem with that. I can absolutely see it working out because you know what? I don't think this is an awful place to come down here with a punt. So you go Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Joey Logano. That leaves you 14,300 left over for your last two guys. If you grab J.J. Yaley, who's starting dead last, who always outperforms his equipment, leaves you $8,800. You can come up and grab Tyler Reddick if you want to. You can get Eric Almirola, Austin Dillon, who I said, very strong here at Richmond. You remember back last year's race, he had probably the best car. He had a speeding penalty or something happened on pit road, ended up finishing fourth, but Austin Dillon had the best car in this race last year. 4 of the last 5 races at Richmond, Austin Dillon top 10. 3 of those 4 top 6. He's very good at this racetrack. He's starting back in 19th, so he has place differential potential. So you could end up with a lineup like this of Hamlin, Truex, Logano, Austin Dillon, and J.J. Yaley. I honestly don't hate that at all. You could also come down and grab Matt DiBenedetto. If you don't trust J.J. Yaley, that allows you to come up and grab an Anthony Alfredo, maybe a Justin Haley. I still don't like Justin Haley. But Anthony Alfredo starting 30th, he has some upside to finish mid-20s. Get you Matt DiBenedetto, who, like I said, is very strong on this track type. So he finished DiBenedetto this year on the short flats. He finished 14th at Phoenix. He finished 9th at the first Richmond race. He finished 11th at Loudon. If you want to throw in Martinsville, he finished 12th there. If you look at Richmond, Penske's just very good on this track type, and Wood Brothers Racing is basically a Penske car. So last 3 races, he finished 9th last year, or earlier this year, he finished 17th in last year's race here at Richmond. Forget what happened, but 14th in 2019 with Levine. DiBenedetto has solid upside potential starting back in the lower 20s. You could, if you wanted to go Chastain here and go LaJoie, you could, or you could go Priest, but I wouldn't go Priest. He starts a little too far forward for me. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't mind taking Hamlin and Truex in the same lineup, starting second and third. Yes, it's risky with them starting so far up, but they're the best on this track type. I think Logano is a non-negotiable player in Slingshot this week. At that price, you can't, and with his upside to win, you can't, and at least finish top 3. You just can't pass it up. I think between him, Hamlin, and Truex, so Hamlin, Truex, and Logano, I think you need at least 2 of the 3, if not all 3. I think that's the best way to go with your Slingshot lineup this week. Obviously, there's other plays out there. There's Kyle Busch starting 15th. He's been strong here at Richmond before, so we take a look at recent Richmond races. Kyle Busch, 8th, 6th, 2nd, 8th, 1st, 9th. Very strong. He's strong at Richmond. He should be at least top 10 here on Sunday or Saturday night race. So he starts 15th. He has the upside. So you go Truex, Kyle Busch, Logano. This allows you to play around even more with these salaries. If you don't want to go Kyle Busch, come down here. William Byron starting 14th. Very solid pick. He should be top 10. I don't think he gets to the top 5 though. He finished 8th at Phoenix this year. He finished 7th at Richmond in the first Richmond race. Going back to 2020, 10th at Phoenix, 9th in the second Phoenix race. He was 11th at Loudon last year. I'm just not seeing the top 5 upside from Byron. So if I was going to, as much as the place differential looks great, I'd probably come down to Keselowski, maybe, or Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell, very strong on short flats, especially now that he's in a Joe Gibbs racing car. So you take a look at the last 2 years. He finished 24th and 17th in the 2 Phoenix races last year. This is with Levine. 28th at Loudon. He then finished 15th at Richmond. So that's last year. This year, he finished 9th at Phoenix. He finished 4th at Richmond. He finished 2nd at Loudon. Christopher Bell has legitimate top 5 finishing potential. So if you go with Truex, Logano, Bell, it leaves you $17,200 to play with the rest of your lineup. So if you add on Matt DiBenedetto here, you can now go like Matt DiBenedetto, Austin Dillon, easily make this lineup. Truex, Logano, Bell, Dillon, DiBenedetto. You have two very solid place differential drivers right here in Austin Dillon and Matt DiBenedetto. You have a top 5 upside with Bell, and then you have race contending drivers with Truex and Logano. Or you could go Hamlin, or you could go Kyle Busch. But like I said, I think Joey Logano is a non-negotiable driver this week. That's where I'd start. I'd put Logano in there. I'd go at least one, if not both, of Hamlin and Truex. Probably, the more that I'm looking at this lineup right here and being able to go, Truex, Logano, Bell, Dillon, DiBenedetto, that's really looking good to me. If you trust Christopher Bell, which I have a tendency to over-trust Christopher Bell, but at this track type, I trust him very much. So I think DiBenedetto is a great place differential play. I think Austin Dillon's a great place differential play. And then, then it's just choosing between Hamlin, Kyle Busch, and Truex for you, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm going with this type of lineup build. If you want to jump down and grab Byron for the place differential, and then and you didn't want Bell, you go Byron, Logano, Keselowski, Dillon, DiBenedetto. That's more than solid in my opinion. But I think you either go heavy hitters, like 3 or 4 heavy hitters up top, and then a punt, or something like this where you get 2 solid place differential plays and then 3 top 5 upside drivers. That's how I see this race playing out. Like I said, this is a very predictable race. It should be, honestly, it's probably going to be pretty boring. That tends to be what happens here at Richmond. We tend to see 1 or 2 dominators, and that's it. And usually one of them's Truex. You look at the last, I think 9 races here. Yeah, 9 races here. He's led 100 or more laps in 7 of them, which is just absolutely ridiculous for a guy like Martin Truex Jr. And he's starting 3rd, so you have to think he's gonna get up there and lead again. So that's all I got this week. Like I said, don't overthink this. It's Richmond. There's very good plays, and then there's good plays, and there's enough very good plays to not overthink this. And just there's probably gonna be a lot of similar, like I'm anticipating the Slingshot scoring this week to have a lot of people near the front and near the top, because that's just how Richmond goes. Just don't expect anything crazy. So take the points. We'll go to Bristol, and things will really get wild there. So good luck this weekend. Remember, make your picks Saturday night, unless there's rain. But I haven't even looked at the weather forecast. So good luck. See ya.